Welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Single Class Challenge. This time, the tragic story of Miluta comes to an end. And getting near the end of Chapter 1, Oracles are doing okay. This is an interesting battle. It's another one of those assassination-type battles where we cannot petrify the main target. So we have to kind of balance how we are dealing with the other threats in the fight, as well as trying to do damage to the assassination target. This is going to be good practice for me as a player on this run, on how to handle fights like this. How much of your resources do you want to put into slowing down the attacks of other characters in the battle versus charging up and concentrating on the primary target? Now, one strategy, of course, would be to just have everyone run up there and just do as many life drains on Miluta as we can, try to hit 4 of them, and boom, battle's done. That might not always work out the best, especially here in the early part of the game, where we cannot really level up past the other targets in these battles. Eventually, these battles, I'll be higher level than them after more grinding. I can be a level 2 or 3 higher than them, and I'll have enough MP to cast a number of spells before I start to run low on MP or my buffs start to run out, yada, yada, yada. So we've got some knights in here, we've got a time mage, we've got black mages. We have some threats to deal with. Delita is going to be our guest character. Delita's just going to kind of run around. He's not going to do a whole lot in this fight. We weren't able to get him fully up to prime oracle mode. The time mage could cause us some problems, and of course, some of the biggest problems here are the black mages. Because if we're needed to get close enough to strike at characters, we're going to have our characters bunched up together, which you obviously don't want to do when you've got black mages around. So here I'm just checking the spell order list. I'm looking to see what spells are firing off and when they're going to happen. Checking to see when characters are going to move around. That's going to be critical in a lot of these fights when we've got chargers versus chargers. And in the early part of the game here, black mages are going to have a little bit of an advantage on my oracles in terms of charging time, especially if I'm charging up some of the higher level stuff like sleep, like petrify, those things that have a little bit longer charge time than, say, your average fires or fire 2s that'll pop up. So the black mages are going to beat me a little bit on the speed part. So you can see Ramza there is charging up a Pray Faith and is moving back. We're trying to get everybody out of harm's way, letting the enemies come down to us a little bit rather than us jumping up into the fray. We do not yet, at this point, have access to the 2-tile attack sticks, so our offensive output is a little bit limited there. The only real damage we've got is the life drain, which is 25% of the max HP of the target. And we also do have access to the elemental rods, which can do minimal damage on the attack swing, but have a chance to cast an elemental spell, fire, ice, or bolt. I don't know off the top of my head if we use these in this battle here, or if I believe we just rely primarily on life drain. But life drain is a percentage-based attack that goes by the your faith and your zodiac alignment and that of the target as well. And Miluta being a rare, I should say uncommon maybe, an uncommon female enemy, it does make it a little harder because I have kind of committed to having a good chunk of female oracles because a lot of the assassination battles are with male targets, and so you want to have the potential for compatibility, better compatibility with the cross-sex attacks. So here we're just applying Pray Faith on our characters. I'm learning this is not super important in a lot of battles. It gives you some advantage in the attacks. It gives you a little bit on landing, but a lot of it depends on what the target's faith is. If the target has a really low faith, it's going to chop down all of these gains because of the way the formula works. So depending on what the faith of the enemy is, this Pray Faith can increase the 2-hit on a lot of ours by a few percent. It's not negligible, but it's not a ton. This also does help us pick up some experience, and as you can see, the chance to do the absorbed MP means that we're not losing a lot of MP. We do lose some because it's not 100% to draw that, but it can be more MP neutral. The only thing it does lose us is some CT, some time counters, which could be important in later battles. Sometimes I think the right move in the early stages of a fight would be to just wait, let the enemies do a move and action, and try to get a little bit of a speed advantage on them, but I haven't played around with that too much as of this recording. So here's the Black Mage charging up so that those Bolt 1s are really fast to charge. And those can be a big problem because my characters have high faith, right? I've picked them so that they have high faith. That's why I'm using them. So they're going to take a lot of damage from those spells, and it's going to be hard if they are charging stuff for a long time. You know, if their Petrify is taking a long time to charge. Black Mages can sometimes swoop in there, move, and charge up a Bolt 1 or a Fire 1. That's going to take somebody out before we have a chance to get those off. So I think a good part of this, we're going to be trying to dodge that and maybe get some life drains in to recover that the HP loss whenever we can. So you can see that this, what is normally in a casual playthrough, this is kind of a trivial battle. You have monks and knights and archers at this point, and wizards. You just kind of charge up, throw everything at Meluda, and the battle's usually over in a couple of rounds. But with oracles, it's a little bit trickier. But that's why I did it. So this would be a perfect time right there. If I had access to the 2 tile sticks, I could probably take out that Time Mage in one shot right here while the Time Mage is charging. But instead, we're having to see what we can do about stopping their attacks from landing on us. There are some things that we can do that have shorter charges, like silence. So if somebody is charging a spell and we can get a silence off, we can obviously nullify that. We can also put Doubt Faith on them, which will make their faith set to 0 so that they'll do very little or 0 damage, or they'll have very little or 0 chance to land whatever status they're going to land on us. So those are some tricks that we can use. So I'm looking to see who we can petrify. Meluda is not going to be able to be petrified. She has the special protection, the special NPC protection, unlike these unfortunate randos here who can be petrified and hit with instant KO materials. So Dorothy is our oracle that has the lowest level. She's always going to be a little bit behind because she's the one who gets excluded from battles where we only get 4 characters. In these early battles, we have so many guests that the game often only gives us 4 of our own characters to choose, and Dorothy is usually the odd one out. So the other oracles are going to be a level or 2 higher than Dorothy, probably for a good chunk of this game, until we get kind of full autonomy over our party. So let's see if we can get petrified to land. Good. That Black Mage is so petrified. Let's see if we can take out these hasted characters. That's going to be really nice too. If we can get these hasted characters turned to stone, that will really nullify the attack from the Time Mage there. We'll get them out of the battle, out of commission. Unfortunately, that Petrify did not land on the Knight. And that one failed because I think it was targeted on the other Time Mage, I think. So we doubled up on targeting, and it failed there. So now the Knight's going to be hasted. The Knight's going to come down. And what I was actually hoping for here is that the Knights will randomly sometimes go for a equipment break. It's a really unfortunate part of the Knight class. I think that the developers probably thought that was going to be more impactful than it ended up being. And so now I've got a Black Mage that's charging something. It's a regular bolt, but it looks like the turns are lining up so that we'll have quite a few actions before the Knight gets that off. But that bolt is going to hit a bunch of characters if they stay bunched up where they are. So I need to either get my characters more spread out, get that weak Oracle out of the way, or find a way to stop that Black Mage's attack from firing off. A little bit of meta information here. I'm recording this commentary a little ways after I recorded this battle. So I actually don't remember how I solved the problem with that wizard charging this spell. So I'm finding out with the viewers, I guess, what choices I made a week ago or so. So we are going to whack that Black Mage with our stick, hoping to pull the pull the lucky ice. I think we have ice rods here in this fight. So this is me looking at when can I do life drain. It's going to be after that bolt fires off. So I'm just going to move up here, spreading the characters out, and I'm looking to see what can I do to try to keep this character alive. She's going to try to do life drain on, or she's looking at where she can act, what she can do. Is there anything she can do? She'll pull a lot of life out of Meluda, but that's if she survives when that bolt is cast. That's why you see me spreading my characters out. I don't remember who the bolt is actually targeted on, but you can see I'm finally moving over here to Meluda. I'm guessing that my thought process was that if one of my oracles is going to go down, I do need to try to shorten the length of this battle as much as I can. And if that means maybe getting a more aggressive, that's what we have to do here with my remaining characters. Because all I need to do is land those 4 life drains on Meluda. So if I just hit her 4 times, it's a 100% takeout. So I'm looking to see what I can do. We've got life drains coming. So Bolt is coming next, and then we've got a bunch of life drains in a row. And so Bolt will fire off here. Let's see who it's going to hurt. Okay, so we'll take down one of my charging oracles. And it's not that weak one right there. So we're going to try to land as many of these life drains as we can. Meluda will take that one. Ramza picks up some life. I wish life drain was a little bit faster on the charge. That's the only limitation to it. I wish we could get that off a little bit faster, because you can recover a pretty significant amount of health from it. Now, not quite enough to survive another bolt or a fire from that wizard. Unfortunately, not quite enough to survive another one. But a decent chunk of that. A decent chunk of getting another one. So we'll see what we can do here. That knight is just going to do nothing. I'm guessing that's because the knight couldn't quite get over to my oracles there. So Meluda, here she's kind of doubling down. She's sick of our lies. There's a little bit of a argument here, a negotiation. That would have been Meluda's chance to run away, but she decides she's going to just fight to the end. She's going to be the last one standing, unfortunately. And that knight again, it's curious that knight doesn't take any moves. Like, the knight could have done an in-between move to get towards one of my, even if the knight couldn't actually reach my oracle there to hit her with the sword. The knight could have taken an in-between move, but instead it seems like the knight just couldn't figure out what to do, so just decided to wait. Okay. I mean, I'll accept it, obviously. I will take it. So Meluda did throw a potion at herself. I didn't comment on. You saw that, of course. So that means it'll take another life drain to get her, because I think the life drains are doing 35. So we'll have to do she has 62 now, I think, so it'll still take 2 more life drains to hit her. Yeah, she has 62. It's going to take 2 more life drains to take her down. The wizard is charging again, and I wish we could run that wizard out of MP. We could have done something like Spell Drain, but again, Spell Drain takes just a percentage of their MP. So it's based on just how much their max MP is. So I should have mentioned that's another way you can stop a charging character if they are low on MP. If you can get a Spell Drain to hit them and get them down below the threshold of the spell, it will fail. So there's a few things you can do. You can silence them. You can sleep them, I think. So we can do a lot to stop them. It's just unfortunate that we have to charge things longer in a lot of cases. But there may be some fun ways to deal with that later. So here I'm just counting tiles. I'm trying to get all my oracles who are still standing into range to cast Life Drain. Remember, I have no real way to revive a knocked out character. I have no real way to do that. So once one of my characters hits the floor, I have 3 rounds to finish the battle before they turn into a crystal or a chest, and I lose them forever. So that's a very cool thing about this game, but it makes challenge runs just that much more challenging, that you can permanently lose characters if they stay KO'd on the field for too long. So this final life drain, I've got 2 of them charging here. If one of these 2 life drains hits, and looks like this one hits and finishes the fight for us. So that is the end of Meluda's tragic tale in this game. It is unfortunate. It's kind of sad. Meluda, coming from the poorer class, Wygraf, her brother, they're fighting for what they see as fighting for their own lives, and it's just kind of their stubbornness and unwillingness to listen to Ramza's pleas for peace that leads to her demise, and of course Wygraf's rage later. If you like these videos, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, make a comment, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm active_ATE. We will see you in the next battle.